All right, Trenton. Well, hey, man. First of all, again, thanks for doing this with me, and found out about your story through K-State. Obviously, your alma mater, and you're a Topeka kid, Seaman alum. So, just I guess we'll start with the basics, man. When you were a graduate of Seaman, you went to K-State, and then what did you major in specifically to get to where you are right now?
I was a PR major at K-State. I knew right from the get-go that I wanted to go into communications, and that's what I guess declared early. And I was one of the few who would stayed on the exact same route that I intended on taking. And I went in and I worked in sports information at K-State Athletics and learned a lot from Kenny Lanou, Tom Gilbert, Ryan Lackey, Randy Peterson, all the folks over there who are so amazing. And they help establish kind of my love for working in sports communications. So that's what I did from the get-go at K-State for 3.5 years. And that really just helped me segue my professional career to where I am leading social at USA Basketball.
So now, how did you get to that point, right? Did you jump there right away? Did you have some stepping stones along the way? How did you get to that journey, with USA Basketball?
Yeah, my about a month before I graduated from K-State, I didn't have a full-time gig lined up. It was Thanksgiving break of 2016, and Randy Peterson, the women's basketball SID at K-State, just kind of forwarded an email that said USA Basketball was looking for a communications intern starting in January for the 2017 year. And he thought I would be a good fit and that I should apply. And I applied. I heard back maybe a week or two later. And then, literally an hour after my last final at K State, USA Basketball called me and said, "Hey, we want you to do the internship. Can you move out in 3, 4 weeks?" And it was all just perfect timing, right? And so I moved out the first week of January 2017, did the internship for 8 months. And at that point in time, USA Basketball didn't have anybody leading social media full time. And they kind of just asked me to stay on and do that. And I've been doing it for 7 years since.
Wow. Okay, so it was just like the first time you said the internship, and I've been doing it for 7 years. That's awesome. And
Mhm.
you know, do you pinch yourself a little bit, right? Because obviously that's probably a big task in terms of, USA basketball. People know the men's and women's team. Now that you've done it for 7 years, what's that experience been like for you?
It's been amazing. And you just said it, like pinch me moments. They still happen all the time, trust me, because of the athletes you work with. And, I hadn't worked with Steph and LeBron until 40 days ago, 50 days ago. So those moments are still happening. And I think every time you win something, you have those pinch me moments because they're so surreal and they're so um, just like poetic and monumental for the athletes, for the team, for the organization. You have so much build when you do this, right? We were on the road for 40 days total. So you're building, building, building. It's like this roller coaster where you're going up forever and then you come down, and but it's just so fast on the come down, right? You're building towards this gold medal for 35 days. And then it's just one, it all comes down to one day, and then the next day you fly home. So it's just this insane rush. So there are so many pinch me moments throughout all of this, throughout 7 years of doing this. I've done two men's World Cups in 2019 in China, 2023 in the Philippines, Women's World Cup 2022 in Australia. I did the Olympics in 2021 in Tokyo for both teams in 3x3 as well. I've done multiple 3x3 World Cups. Um, and then, of course, this Olympics, which has been kind of the pinnacle of my USA basketball career. So um, throughout that whole time, every single year, every single one of those things, it's something that I remember and have cherished and have been pinch me moments. So they never stop. And that's probably why I'm still doing this, is because I'm addicted to those um, thrilling moments. It's just a rush. It's an amazing rush.
Well, you've been able to go to a lot of different places, which is obviously awesome. And like
Yeah.
you, like you said, you've been able to meet LeBron and Steph and probably Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum. I mean, it goes down the line. Now, I'll have to ask you the moment, man, when Steph hit that three to basically seal it with the night celebration. Were you there in the stadium? Did you see it live? What was that like from your perspective to see that?
Yeah, I was there. That one was crazy. I think that'll be maybe the moment everybody kind of remembers from this one was him shooting it from the hip while KD's at the top of the key wide open, and LeBron's on the other wing wide open, and he just decides to shoot it over Batum and Fournier. But that was a special one. I'll never forget that one. I was sitting in the press tribune tweeting away, so I was there, and it's interesting because I was probably one of the extremely few people in the entire arena, other than the French, that didn't cheer, of course, because I was working, so I was getting the tweets out. But yeah, that one will forever be up here. So that was really cool. And the Serbia game too. The Serbia game, the game before, where Steph hit 9 threes, was just insane. The comeback. So two amazing ones back to back.
So let me ask, when you're tweeting out stuff, man, you probably have a little bit, you're a little trigger happy to send stuff off, fingers are probably typing so fast. Do you have to calm yourself down a little bit? Because if there's big moments like that, so you don't mess up or have to delete a tweet or anything like what's that like?
Nah, trust me. I've 7 years of doing it. You get pretty good at proofreading yourself, or thinking of every negative connotation or way something could be twisted. No, sometimes thinking too much, you don't get it out, or not thinking enough, you make a mistake. But I've done it for 7 years now, and I've fired off way too many that I trusted myself to to get it out, and we were in a good spot. So even actually the women's gold medal game, if you remember it, it's Gabby Williams had her toe on the line as she made the shot at the buzzer. And I had to get out the final score graphic, but I saw it in real time, her toe be on the line. So I already had it prepared and I exported it. And, they had to go to review, but I already knew. And so right then and there, I was able to like basically have the whole thing ready. We had our copy ready. And when they did the no basket, I was hit send right away. So yeah, I was just trusted myself, and like I said, 7 years of practice, you get pretty good at it.
Well, and two, to win two gold medals, right? The men have won five in a row. The women are on a historic run with eight. So
Mhm.
you've seen two pretty nice gold medals, I would say. So when you are able to see that in person too, that maybe not many people can say that they've seen a gold medal or a gold medal game or, wherever the Olympics are at. How would you describe, how would you just, encompass what that's like in terms of just being in that arena when the teams win gold?
Um, it's a it's a different rush. It's a different feeling. Um, I think when you cheer for your team, if you're a KU fan, if you're a K State fan, Chiefs fan, whatever, we love seeing our teams win, right? It's an amazing feeling. But when you're in those places and you have on USA, you have on the colors, you know that you're the road team, especially playing in France against the hosts. And you know what it means to literally an entire country back home. I'm on the social side of things, so I see every comment, I see everything that the media twists and turns. Um, so I know, what it means to the people back home. And like I said, there's just a different weight of being in that environment with representing USA basketball. So it's definitely a different feeling. It's really, really, really cool. I wish everybody could feel what that feeling is when you're standing there and they are raising, our flag above all the others while all our athletes are on the podium. That's really cool. And for me, being close to the team and knowing what goes in for 40 days, for us leaving our families, for them, practicing every day, putting in all this work to just kind of be on the podium for that one moment. You kind of feel that too. Of we put in the work too on our side. Of we just want that feeling. We want to win. We want to experience the highs with everybody. Um, it's it's really powerful, honestly. It's really cool.
And powerful, I think, is a great word to use because obviously what you've been able to do, and you looking back at your time at, of course, at Seaman and of course at K State, have you received, I'm assuming, some calls and some texts from family back home or friends or former classmates talking about what you've been able to do, within your profession as well?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of old education or teachers, people in education. My dad was in education, so some of those family friends, and then of course my best friends who are following along with all of this and know what I do. And it's yeah, they always hit me up, and I make sure I reply to those people because I really value their friendship. And them paying attention. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of messages. It's really really cool, and um, I'm just happy that I was able to experience some of these things. I know that it's extremely limited group of people who get to do this. I don't lose sight of that. I don't take it for granted. It's um, really powerful for a person from just north Topeka, Kansas, to get to do this. So um, I hope I make people proud when we go do this job.
I'll ask you who I know you brought up Randy, you brought up Ryan, you brought up Tom, you brought up so many different people that I even work with myself. So
Mhm.
who would be, who was that biggest mentor? Who was that person that I know you said Randy was the one that basically pushed it along to you?
Yeah,
Who would you say did all of them help you? What was that like working with them to be able to push you to be where you are right now?
yeah. They helped me so much, all of them. I think from the get go when I got to K State, they knew I was serious about wanting to pursue something in sports communications. So they learned pretty quick, like which interns who are unpaid are willing to do the work and want to be there versus the ones who are like, maybe just kind of doing it to go to the games or have something on their resume or something. Like I was serious about it. So, um, I would do every men's basketball game, almost every women's basketball game. I did every football game, of course. And by the time I was a senior, they had just kind of elevated my role so much that I was doing things that were maybe a little above a student intern at that time. I was paid at that time, but a little above that person. They just trusted me to do it. And like fall of 2016, I think I wrote every football game recap. So whether I was at the game or watching a road game, I would write those for Lackey and Kenny. And those were just invaluable experiences for me, to be able to put those on my resume and gain that experience. And then I was kind of doing the same for Tom um, once men's basketball rolled around. Yeah, I just gained such an immense experience from putting in that time with them. And then they've always just backed me as I was, you know, going through this process with USA Basketball and everything. Um, they've just been incredible mentors throughout my whole career. So I couldn't just say that, one of them was maybe more than other. Maybe I worked more men's basketball games than any other sporting event at K-State, of course. So I saw maybe Tom more than anybody, but they were all just so instrumental to me getting valuable experience.
Now I imagine you probably still follow them, whether it's basketball and football and
Oh yeah.
baseball, but especially being in them in the super regionals this past year. So I'll ask you a fun one here in terms of the football team this coming season, right? With Avery and him now having the keys to the program. Just how excited are you from afar, not too far, but far enough away to be able to see what that football program is going to do, and maybe not even just football. Also, both basketball teams coming up here in the next couple months, or football in 2 weeks, really. So
Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm stoked. A lot of the times USA basketball, we don't get back until like September and stuff. And I might miss week one, week two, or I'm watching. I remember watching us play Mississippi State from China in 2019. And then I ran a marathon the day we lost to Tulane at home in 2022, I think. So there was just like crazy things, but I'm happy that I have my feet on the ground in the States to watch the start of the season. I'm super stoked. I think everybody that's in Manhattan and as a K-Stater is so excited for the football season to watch Avery do his thing and have all the guys, DJ, Dylan Edwards, Cephas, Keegan Johnson, all the offensive weapons we have coming back. So we're just excited to see what could happen over there. And then basketball, of course, um, Coach Tang was able to reel in so many good guys out of the portal. David Castillo, who I've worked with at USA Basketball, coming in as a freshman, he will be an amazing add here for not just this year, but many years to come with his leadership and his skills. So I'm really excited for everything that's happening over there. Women's basketball, I'm not going to forget them. Of course, Aoka coming back, the Glenn sisters. Yeah, I think we're set up really well to succeed in Manhattan. And yeah, I'm following every single thing. Trust me, I still hold it near and dear to my heart. I'm coming back for the Arizona game. My folks still live in Topeka, so I'll be back over the holidays as well. So I always get back to catch stuff. Um, I'm still wearing purple all the time. Trust me. So it's uh, it's forever, man.
So, I mean, obviously Kansas is home for you, right? Manhattan was home for you for a little bit. Not, of course, Topeka is your first home. And so is it always fun just to be able to come back to your roots and just kind of, of course, reminisce? And, obviously there's work, of course, with it now, but just to come back to Topeka and just kind of, look back at all the things that you've done.
For sure, I never lose sight of it. That's always home. Um, my girlfriend's family is also in the Seaman community, so it's nice being able to, for both of us to come home and just take in Topeka. And I still, when I go home, I still go work out and run at Seaman. So it's just like something that I always do. It's a little piece of me that I won't ever probably give up. So yeah, it's nice to be able to come home and see all my friends and family that are still around or near. Um, yeah, it's been a while for me. I haven't been back since maybe the holidays, but I'll get back here soon.
Absolutely. No, it's the same thing for me, especially being from Illinois. I'm not that close. You're a little bit closer
Yeah.
to me, but not too close. But I'll ask you one more thing, Matt.
Mhm.
If somebody asks you what you do for a living, obviously you take great pride in that and you tell them, hey, this is what I do. Do you ever like what's that like when you maybe tell people what you do and they are like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, do you like sharing those stories and kind of, sharing those experiences with others as well?
I do. That's such a funny one because um, I went to a coffee shop a couple of days ago or yesterday, and I got back, and the guys were like, "Hey, we haven't seen you in a while," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I just got back from a big trip." And they're like, "Where did you go?" I was like, "The Olympics." And had to tell them like what I do, and um, it is kind of just a funny thing. You never really know who's behind the keys on some of these things, who's posting what or who's recording what, and that's not necessarily what it's all about. I understand that I live a very um, cool and interesting life, and that are in these very tight, surreal, special moments. That's I'm not, I don't lose sight of that. Um, but I do, when somebody asks, I try to play it down a little bit. I'm not just like, hey, I'm the social media manager for USA Basketball. I probably like just lead on, hey, I work in basketball, or hey, I work in social media. Um, Try to play it down a little bit, but yeah, it's an amazing thing, and sometimes when I step back on it, I get to realize like how special it is, and how much it means to me, and how much it means to people back home that that I'm the one doing this. That's really valuable to me, and as much as I play it down, I know it's really, really, really cool. So I love it a lot.
All right, I'll ask you one more, I promise. Another fun
No,
one.
you're good. You can do as many.
Who is your favorite player that you have talked to or interacted or joked with over this Olympics, men and women's side? Who was the most funny or interesting? I mean, who was that on the men and women's side?
um, I'll tell you guys. Everything. If there are any Steph Curry haters out there, they should vanish, because he is like the nicest, kindest, um, just one of the most down to earth people that exist. And for being as elite as he is, and as transcendent of a basketball player as he is equally awesome as a human being. So I would say, for a person who I hadn't met, Steph is way up there. But I have a lot of great guys that I've known on this team. Tyrese Halliburton, I've known for a long time. Jason Tatum, um, I've known for a while. Derek White, I've known for 5 years, and Derek is a really, really great guy. Drew Holiday. We surrounded that men's team with elite human beings, like really good character people. So they make my job a lot easier when they're such nice guys and willing to do things. So those guys, but then of course, I've spent so much time with our women's national team over the last 5 years. I have great relationships with Sabrina, Kelsey, Diana, Stewie, Asia. Those are my people, and I love them. And so I have a couple of moments after the Olympics where Diana, who obviously played her last one, or so we believe, um, gave me a hug and told me she loves me, and those are things that I'll cherish forever. So that and Plum. So those are two really cool things, and those are people that we should always root for because they do it the right way. They're good to others. They want to be there. They want to represent. They want to win, and like I said, they want to do it the right way. And they're elite human beings.
That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool to have that in your back pocket, and I imagine that probably what keeps you going, right? You know, because you meet all these different players, like you said, you knew David Castillo. He was at K State, or now he's at K State, but before he made it to K State, and I'm assuming that that's what keeps your motor going too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I get to work at every level of this, right? So I do 16, 17s, 18s, 19s. I do our 3x3 programs. I do our senior national teams. So, while we think that the Olympics is the most amazing thing, I don't just come in here every 4 years and do the Olympics. I will do 2025. I'll do every team we have in 2025, 2026, 27, and 28 leading up to the LA games. So I'm involved in all these processes and I meet amazing people along the way. I get to know them. I get to see them grow. That's maybe one of the coolest aspects of this is looking back and saying, hey, D White, you remember when we were in Australia in 2019 or China, or you were playing the qualifiers and nobody even knew who you were, and now you're on the Olympic team. Um, those are really cool moments that I really cherish, and they help build these bonds that help me do my job and help us experience amazing things together. So, like with David, I've known David since he was 16 years old, and to see him, ultimately come to K State, choose this program, who I'm a fan of on the side, that's a really cool thing. So I'm really excited to see him grow and prosper there in Manhattan.
Well, Trenton, I know we went over a lot of different things and what entails your job and everything. Is there anything else that I'm missing that we should know about you or the job or Olympics? Anything that I'm missing that you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so. I'm at the end of the day, I'm just a regular guy who is just from Topeka, Kansas, who went to Kansas State and is living the dream. It's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Well, Trenton, I really appreciate you taking the time, man, and awesome stuff with what you're doing. And again, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me and all the experiences at the Olympics.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.